Oh, you're just not introing this week. That's how we're versed to...
No, I'm just enjoying our song, man. I'm just enjoying our song. And welcome to another year of Miles Offside Podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nonsense. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy from Afar, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Mr. 2021 Chuck Bailey and super producer Ian Stimpson.
Believe I am still FPL champion though, right? I'm happy to be Mr. 2021. I am all about 2021. 2021 is about getting shit done. There is so much more freedom and so much more opportunity for all of us, baby.
What a delightfly optimistic note.
I don't know that freedom is necessarily the right word to choose.
What? There's been no recent announcements about anything. So
we should explain we are recording this directly after Boris has addressed the nation. I think we've lost the magic of lockdown eve. It's a lovely time of year. It just seems to come around more often. It only seems like a few months since the last one.
Putting the decorations up and taking them down again is so exhausting. Fucking hell. In the loft, out of the loft, putting up the lights, taking the lights down, getting electrocuted.
It's such a magical time.
Are you guys stocking up on toilet paper? And Ian, have you ordered your lifetime supply of champagne bottles for your grocery needs?
Yeah. Also, Chuck doesn't know this because me and Oscar were on the call first, but I've got a bit of a problem as well, Chuck, because...
Drinking problem? Yeah.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we weren't going to say anything, but...
I think because of the lockdown that's just been announced in the last few minutes, the Sainsbury's website's gone down, which means I can't amend my order. So as it stands, I'm getting one bottle of champagne delivered tomorrow.
Just one bottle.
It takes it above the limit that you need to make the order. So, yeah. And Oscar was saying, it's going to look like I'm celebrating lockdown in my own very single
I think you should.
way.
Go outside. Ray! Give it the Formula 1 treatment.
If I stop listening for a little while, it's because I'm desperately trying to reload the Sainsbury's website.
Oh, okay.
Priorities. Other people stock up on, toilet paper, drinking water, cans of beans.
Fucking Mr. 1% over here.
Yeah. Ian's like, you know what I need? Just one bottle of champagne delivered to my house. I'm not going out.
You know what's worth fucking up the environment for? One bottle.
One bottle. Just the one.
And you know what? Some guy somewhere else has to open a case. Just go, oh, fucking hell. Takes him, that's 27p. That costs.
It never happens.
His energy. Put it in a van. You just don't care about the environment, do you, Ian?
No.
Fair enough.
Well, he's old, so he doesn't have to deal with the problems
exactly.
of the future.
I've gone full boomer on it.
Fuck you guys, that's not my problem.
Is that the banter section this week?
Yeah, that's done. So we are the Miles Offside Podcast, one American, two Brits, trying to talk about soccer, but mostly getting distracted. How do you like that? That's a good tagline. I just came up with that on the spot. I'm going to use that from now on. I like it.
Literally, you won't remember it. Never use it again.
That's true. I definitely won't next week. Someone write in. You forgot to do the sentence. But if you are joining us for the first time, thank you. We are happy to have you. Welcome. And if you are back, then also thank you. We love you. Hope you had a wonderful holiday and rang in the new year safely, preferably asleep, in my case. Passed out at 9:30.
9:30, nice.
Yeah, it was delightful. Sleep on the couch under a fleece blanket by 9:30, in actual bed by 10:15. What a delight. But we will kick things off, as we always do, with our rapid fire news. Just the one story this week, boys. Cancellations.
Our top story tonight is that
COVID.
2021 has begun and Patrick Bamford is finally underperforming his XG! What a resplendent start to the most glorious decade of our lives. Normality is restored. Nature is healing.
Okay.
When you sent me that fanfare, I didn't realise it was 23 seconds long.
I just want to bask in it.
You look like that Elmo meme with the flames behind him. That's you right now. This is a joke just for Ian, because I already knew that I was going to say this, and you are you. Ian, isn't that really funny? Doesn't he look just like that Elmo?
He did.
Yeah.
He'll change it to the fire background soon. It's currently the miles offside. Previously, it's been Christmas puddings.
Good dicks.
I enjoyed that one.
Yep. Me too. Is there actually a news story? Is there a news story? No. I just wanted everyone to know that Patrick Bamford is once again underperforming his XG. Ian, you can play the fanfare again if you want. Thank you. And you know what? It just feels like just a little piece, a piece of us that was taken away last year has finally been put back. And yeah.
It's very long, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
I want that up full whack on the edit. Thank you very much. Peeking.
Oh man.
So yeah, but was there any news stories, or are we just going to talk about the Tinsel window?
Well, we should probably talk about how fixtures keep getting cancelled, and maybe the league is on or off, unknown. Sky says it's off. Everyone else says it's still on. We are not watching Boris.
Sky.
Sky News just said, their reporter said that it was off. And then no one else seems to be reporting it. And indeed, everyone else seems to be reporting that the Prem and Elite Sport can continue. So that's another one of Sky's never wrong for long predictions, I think.
Never wrong for long. I like that.
But it's because quickly after they've proven to be wrong, they just delete the articles and the tweets. And...
Yeah. My favourite one was when I was working there, and we had a translator in the booth doing the Amanda Knox trial. And... she really wasn't very good and managed to fuck it up and say that she'd been found guilty. The second she said that, Sky News strapped it and everything. And then 10 seconds later, it just changed to not guilty. Never mention it again.
Just a typo. The word not is important there. Just 3 letters, but it's pretty important.
Dear.
I wonder if they did the same thing here. They meant to say, like, football is not called off. And then maybe it's a Borat joke. Maybe it's like a really long Borat joke. And then, like, 3 days from now, Sky is just going to tweet the word "not" in all caps, and everyone's going to be like, "What?" But we'll know.
They never draw attention to it. Never mention it again.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
it looks like football's on.
Yeah, it looks like the league might still be happening, but either way, there have been quite a few fixtures called off. That seems to be the big thing. In terms of the news, there's not much else. Also, players on the other side of that coin have been fucking idiots and getting together for Christmas parties and New Year's parties with big bum Latinas and like all sorts of craziness going on.
Big bum Latinas.
Honestly, I didn't realize that I was going to have to fly all the way to England for this party, but you know.
You had a good time.
I had a good time. It was a good time.
A job's a job.
No shame in shaking that booty for some money. You know, they call it the moneymaker.
Good Lord.
Serious note, though, are you guys... At what point, I should say, do we get concerned about the number of missing fixtures given the very, very short amount of time available after the season before the Euros?
2 months ago. That's when we get concerned. Yeah, we should have been more fucking proactive than reactive, but you don't need to tell that to us because we fucking live in the UK and the USA. The players that did those things are ridiculous and it's disgusting. At least some clubs came out and gave apologies, punished players seemingly with being dropped, etc. Some clubs, remain nameless, Crystal Palace, had their club captain do it and he still played and captained the side on that day. And Roy Hodgson said, our fans probably don't care about that stuff and are probably more concerned with results. I think you'll find we realise that football isn't as important as much as we've been doing this podcast for 2.5 years, and maybe, just maybe, the preservation of society as a whole and lives is more important than 22 blokes kicking a fucking ball.
I don't know, man. Maybe when you're a Palace fan, that might be true, but I'm a Chelsea fan, and I want to see them play.
Yeah? Do we want to talk about Chelsea for the last
No, I'm kidding. Call off the season.
Didn't think so.
Ian, that was perfect, Chuck, so I have nothing to add, but Ian, do you want to, chastise these players any little bit more? Or?
No, I don't want to chastise players any more than Chuck already has because it is obviously ridiculous. I'm mostly upset that I'm not allowed to enjoy Mendy anymore. That's the most annoying thing.
Why? Because you thought he was going to ask for a big bum whitey and that would be you?
Yes, furious about it. Just another kick in the teeth for me.
I'll put in a good word for the next party. I'll give you a reference.
If you would, yeah. What you need is someone whose skin is virtually translucent. That's what you want. But anyway, to go back to your original question, there can't be many more postponements before this gets silly. I mean, Fulham have already got 2 games to make up. Obviously, they don't have the problem of any sort of European competition or cup runs or anything, but the cup should have been cancelled anyway. The whole thing's... It feels like it might be teetering because you've also got the Euros at the end of the season to contest with. I mean, it's just...
FA Cup is at the stage now as well that it's the third round. Like, I thought it was international break, but it's not. It's FA Cup and League Cup this week. So I think tomorrow, as we record, is the first semi-final, which is, I don't know, Tottenham-Brentford.
Of Carabao,
and then the day after in the Caribou is Man United City.
Yeah.
But then the week after, you've got the FA Cup, which is obviously the third round when all the Premier League teams come in.
Yeah.
And just because of the fixture congestion and the fact that League One's fucked at the minute, probably other leagues are as well. I saw something today with Charlton as well, but who knows? That could just be because they're shit. And so you're now going to start mixing the leagues as well as mixing the teams. And it just seems like maybe at this point, cut those kind of things down or nip them in the bud, as it were, now. If you're worried about prize money and the money that gets, give all the prize money to all the teams that are in the FA Cup that aren't currently in the Premier League. Just give it to them. Have it, split it between yourselves. We'll worry about it next year. Don't worry about, Europa and Champions League, whatever your thoughts might be about being in the team. But fundamentally, it just doesn't make sense. And then Euros at the end, like, no one wants Britain visiting their country anyway. So we should just take it now. Yeah. That way you don't have to get embarrassed later.
Yeah, I mean, your points about the cup competitions are exactly right. Because, like, especially Tottenham and City, who are in the League Cup semifinals this week, right? You guys just said that. If they make it through, then they literally do not have room in their schedule for making up at least one fixture. They have to get knocked out of Europe or the FA Cup to, like, if they keep progressing, basically is what I'm saying. And this will be true for other teams as well as it gets further into the European and the FA Cup rounds. Like, if these teams that are in a bunch of competitions keep progressing, literally there's not enough room unless they can get the clubs to agree to play during an international break, which is like a huge no-no, and UEFA would be pretty annoyed about that. And or FIFA, both maybe, I'm not quite sure. Someone would be pretty angry about that. Or you're pushing into the Euros.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we are still having the League Cup and the FA Cup is insane. Chuck, I said earlier in the Slack that I want the Champions League to continue. That was half in jest. Obviously, that's the competition I care the most about, but you're right. Having a competition where players are traveling abroad between countries and interacting with players from other countries that have different regulations and different rules and all that sort of stuff is probably very, very dumb right now. And I think you're right. I think, like, we are one canceled Man City fixture away from, like, a very real question about, do we let them play 37 matches, or how do we decide this table? Like, what happens now? It doesn't need all 20 teams to not have room. If there's 2 or 3 teams that don't have room, like, what, like, literally, what the fuck is the Premier League going to do there? So,
I think it is on a knife edge.
That ended fucking bleakly.
Yeah, speaking of, should we talk about the results over the festive holiday fixture?
You mean the Tinsel window?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Festive holiday, yeah. The Tinsel window.
Thank you.
Trademark, copyright, registered trademark. Miles Offside Podcast 2018. Ian, tell our literal tens of listeners and ones of new listeners for this week. Just what is the Tinsel window?
The Tinsel window is the massively grouped together, more so this year probably, of festive fixtures that you get, where teams rotate, crazy scorelines happen, and basically a good Tinsel window can set you up for the second half of the season. Everyone knows
Absolutely. And I mean, in terms of, admin wise, we can't fucking keep up.
No, it's not too compressed for us to do podcasts. Yeah.
Hence why last week, after our teams both got battered and Ian's didn't play, we just decided to do quizzes instead. So if you came back for more quizzes, come back in about an hour and a half and then you'll get Ian's Bluffer. Because that's a weekly fixture. But I put out a shout out, and many different fans from different teams have got in touch with us. Some with very curt, direct speeches. Others, Sam Danby, with 1,500 words or more about how they feel their team got on over the Tinsel window, just as well to give a little bit more of a different input to what we normally have, being as how we just say every other team is shit and our own team's is shit, and it's all shit.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be fun, I think. So do you want to just go through this alphabetically? Let the listeners take the lead on it?
Well, Fortuitous happenstance and results have meant that resident punching bag, Mr. Adam P, was happy to get in touch with his input about Arsenal, sending this to us saying, "Thank God this summary comes now off the back of 3 consecutive wins against 3 very different kinds of rivals, rather than a month ago. For the majority of the season, Arsenal have looked shit, and I mean really quite shit, like... we're too good to go down territory shit. But thankfully, last three results have shown that there might be a speck of light at the end of this very long tunnel. The youthful trio of Smith Rowe, Saka and Martinelli has reinvigorated Arsenal's attack and inspired those more senior colleagues, like Ian, who appeared to be lacking any creativity, unlike Ian.
Thank you.
Combined with finding that earlier defensive solidity, would I go that far? And Arsenal have had somewhat of a base to begin this salvage this season. Top 4 is still a long way off. Europa has to be the target, and if reinforcements come in to strengthen the attack in January, I'd feel more confident of us being able to get into the top 8. I love that he just ends it there. Like, it's all so promising. It's like Arsenal to get to the top 8.
Yeah.
Like, oh!
Yeah, when that's your aspiration. Yeah. Blimey.
I know, right? But what about stats? So, obviously, you mentioned the 3 consecutive wins and stuff, Oscar, but who were they playing and how did they get their points?
You are subtly, not so subtly, getting me to say, obviously, that Arsenal did beat Chelsea. That was one of the results on Boxing Day. Arsenal 3, Chelsea 1. But yeah, the Arsenal definitely have had a good Tinsel window. I mean, if you look at the underlying numbers, right, over the course of the entire season so far, they've been in, they're in 11th place on the table, 8th on expected. So, hey, Adam, there's your top 8 right there. You're good. You made it.
Hey!
Yay! But then over the Tinsel window, they were 5th. So that is a significant upgrade. And also, it's 5th, but pretty close to the other teams in that general vicinity for the expected points over the Tinsel window. Like, for example, Chelsea got 8.79 expected points, 4th best over the Tinsel window. Arsenal, 8.74. So it's right there. Right there. Who else would be in that general vicinity? Aston Villa would be right above that on 3rd. So, Arsenal, definitely, we do see, significant improvements over their underlying numbers in the last 2 fixtures. I would simply, as the resident statsy-mathy guy, use the age-old caveat of sample size. Adam, just be careful getting overly excited about a window of, 5 matches, because natural variance could lead to 5 very, very strange results over a small time frame, but then over the course of an entire season, that's when you really want to be looking at the predictive numbers. So, positive signs for Arsenal. They done a few, which is out of character for them.
Especially recently, but I think he hit now, and watching them recently, Smith Rowe looks fantastic, and Saka just can literally play any position anywhere on the pitch, and is good at it. So it's quite nice for Arsenal. I feel like we're going to be a bit more positive this week. I don't know. I'm feeling
give it
positive.
time. Give it time.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Am I still filled with hate? Just a little bit. But, there's that little bit of light coming through. Ian, you got anything that you noticed about Arsenal?
I think the jury's still out. Obviously, if I was Adam P, I'd be happy. Well, not happy that I'm Adam P, obviously, but I'd be happy with the Tinsel window. But I'm not entirely convinced yet. Aubameyang is completely anonymous at the minute. If he kicks on, then maybe...
If he kicks on and the rest of the team starts going, then I'll be scared. Naturally, they play Palace next, and they've just found their form, and they're playing on my 30th birthday, and I can't go out and do anything else to distract myself, and it's fucking depressing me already. So, cheers, Adam. Adam P, at 35who. Give him a follow on Twitter.
Lovely to have you back, Adam.
Yeah, lovely to hear from you. Moving on, we go to Aston Villa, and someone new got in touch with us, Lewis Lee, who is at BusterLee21 on Twitter, for his thoughts about Aston Villa. And he said that there was a tough run of fixtures over the Christmas period, but he thinks there's a lot of positives to take from performances. I mean, you're 4th in the league, mate. Yeah, you're fucking sweet. Martinez has been a revelation. Matty Cash down the right-hand side has been excellent, and obviously players like Grealish, El Ghazi, who have hit a recent good of form. Any negatives? Watkins, yeah, he's in my fucking FPL team. He does bugger all.
It might be a negative, as in
mate, he's Firmino. He's like this new wave of strikers don't want to score goals.
Okay, he's Firmino. So he might not be
Ian's pick of the week.
Getting on the I'll pick him in FPL exactly. he might not be getting on the end of everything, but he's been really unselfish a lot of times. I think he's been pretty integral to how they set up in their attack, and he's been assisting, hat-trick of assists the other day in the Tinsel window. I think what I wouldn't be worried about Watkins. I mean, I would if I had him in FPL, and I do. But you know, as a fan, I'd be quite happy with Watkins. I think he's. How much do they buy him for? 28 million. I think that looks like money well spent to me.
And then kind of the last sentence he's got here, and I forgot about this as well, and Barkley coming back to fitness. Yeah. I have aspirations that we can drive towards European places. I mean, anything could happen this year, unless you're Sheffield United.
Spoiler.
And so, you know, the least spoiler in history. And yeah, I think Villa could be, you know, any Villa fan can't be unhappy right now. They're in 7th overall and 26 points.
Imagine being a Villa fan this year. Like, I mean, obviously I don't know the history of stuff, but they don't seem to me like a club that is regularly flying this high. Like maybe at some point in their history do they have titles? I'm guessing they have a couple titles and stuff. Yeah,
I mean back in the sort of 70s and 80s, but it's not been a good long while.
And they are like very legit this year. The reason they are is Jack Grealish, right? Like I saw this at Chelsea. Some very mediocre Chelsea teams were elevated to very, very good positions in the table by Eden Hazard just being absolutely insane. And Jack Grealish is doing, and this is not an original thought on any level whatsoever. Just go on analytics, Twitter, and you'll see 1,000 people saying the same thing. But he's playing Hazard level numbers this season. Like, not even exaggerating, genuinely Hazard level numbers. And what I mean by that is that he's not only scoring and assisting, but he's also creating by transitioning the ball from the middle third to the attacking third. So he drops back, he gets the ball. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I know for a fact that he is number 1 for Aston Villa from getting the ball from the middle third to the final third, and like top 5 in the league. He's number 1 in the league for dribbling the ball into the penalty area. He's number 3 in the league for passing the ball into the penalty area. And he's also top 5 for receiving the ball in the penalty area. Like, he's just all of the things getting Aston Villa to where they're at. And they're legit. Like, I would say don't just have aspirations of top 4, have expectations at this point of top 4, because they have been better than Chelsea on the underlying numbers, pretty much. I mean, not entirely, but certainly over the Tinsel window and the season at large.
They underperformed in the Tinsel window and were 7th over that with 8 points. Expected points was 3rd, 2nd for expected goals in that period, and I think it's the 7th best defence.
Yeah, their defense is their weak point because Jack Grealish can't defend, right? But
I mean, it's hard in this window because, again, with the goals scored and goals allowed numbers, you're looking at quite low numbers sometimes for them, so it's much of a muchness. They were 7th for goals allowed, but they conceded 3 goals in 5 games. And they were 1 on switch away from going down if they switched on the VAR that day. And it's very frustrating and annoying for a club that's been in a similar position, trying to come up and seeing one that's just invested well and run well. But speaking of annoying clubs, next on the list, and funnily enough, no fans from this team wanted to get in touch.
Who's this?
Because no one supports them. Brighton and Hove Albion, bunch of shit. Unlucky, consistently unlucky. Oh, so unlucky in the team. It's been 17 weeks now, and they're 17th. What do you want me to say, guys? What do you want me to say?
Not a great deal. I mean, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, the unlucky Brighton thing can only go on for so long. I think it's getting
half a season. Half a season, man. That's it.
Getting a bit.
You're not unlucky. Now. You're just not good enough. That's it.
Well, I take umbrage with that sentence.
Go on in.
Just because stats, but that's fine. I'm not gonna we can save that conversation for one of the other teams on this list. I'm sure it'll come up again.
13 points under their expected.
That's insane. Only them and Sheffield are anywhere near. Who's the 3rd most under expected, I think?
What am I supposed to be? The numbers man? You're the numbers man.
Yeah, I'm checking. Fulham are 7 under expected. And then up from there, it's a jump to 13 to Brighton. That's the next least.
Wow.
So it's a lot of points. They're horrendously unlucky to be where they are in the table. But how did they look? Chuck, you have the data in front of you. How did they look over the Tinsel window? Did they underperform there as well?
4 draws and a loss. I know some of them were kind of coming from behind. There was that mental game against Wolves the other day that went to 3-3 with 2 penalties and own goals and all sorts of bloody calamities left, right and centre. Defensively 16th in terms of goals allowed. Goals scored. They scored 6 goals in the 5 games, which puts them 10th. So kind of mid-table for goals and, conceded as well. So it's just dross. I mean, they said they'd changed the keeper and Ryan was in a really bad run of form. And I can't remember the name of the new Brighton keeper. Ian, you probably own him in FPL.
He's in my free hit, Sanchez.
Oh, of course he is. Of course he is, because you always have Brighton players. So he's come in and it's, they keep saying they're 1-2 key parts away from a revolution at Brighton, but it just doesn't... Either Graham Potter is a genius and the players are shit, or Graham Potter doesn't know what he's doing, and so the players aren't effective, it seems to be at this point.
In the way that Villa went through a period of struggling and then got themselves through it by changing how they do things and the manager taking players' ideas on and stuff, if Graham Potter doesn't do something about this, then he's either going to go down this year or get sacked early on next year. So this is the test, really, isn't it? Because he's seen in high regard by everyone, but I'm yet to see why. So that this is going to be the test.
Anyway, that's enough about those South Coast shithouses.
And we wonder why we don't have listeners writing in about them.
Well, we go from South Coast shithouses to North Coast shithouses, ? And we move on to Burnley. Fabled Burnleys of the week. This is given to us by Adam at FPL Vinny, VINNIE on Twitter, who says he's a radio journalist who covers a lot of Burnley games, so I'd say I represent them well. Game week 13-16 was a clear continuation in terms of Burnley becoming the defensive unit again they're used to seeing, down to Ben Mee being back in the team. Since his return, Burnley have kept 5 clean sheets and only conceded 7. I believe that's in 9 games. Attacking options, don't go there. And upcoming fixtures, while they're not great, Nick Pope has the opportunity to rack up save points. He is currently 24 points ahead of the next Burnley player in FPL.
Wow.
And it's looking like, because Charlie Taylor won't be fit for a while, Matt Loughton and Eric Peters at 4.4 and 4.3 million budget options. You wouldn't necessarily get assists, but Burnley, clean sheets, we know what they can do with it. I asked him a little bit more because I think today Burnley announced a takeover.
Did they?
Quite a big American investment, yeah. And so he had this to say: they couldn't have done much more recently, given how limited resources, and fans are acutely aware teams performing far beyond the sum of their parts. Yeah, we all know that. And the expectation is to stay up. Concerned and excited in equal measure with the takeover, and the club needs investment for a long time, and that's encouraging. Relegation would definitely come without it, and they want Dyche to be the man to be there and spend it, especially as they remember what happened to local rivals Blackburn about a decade ago. It's very easy, as we've said before, dropping through that trapdoor. So yeah, I think it has been a bit, looking at Burnley, they've kind of gone, they're never the most exciting team, are they? Let's face it.
No, but that's interesting news about the takeover. I didn't know that, and like you say, that can be a real coin toss.
Yeah, it can be interesting. I mean, Palace had it a little while ago, and we never spent it in the window, but we have built academy, so maybe that's kind of what they're going to go for with Burnley. But obviously, this is fresh news. Tinsel window wise, 7 points in 4 games.
It's fine. 7 points is plenty, especially this year.
That's nearly 2 points a game. 2 points a game is 76 points a season. Burnley going to Europe again.
That's maths, isn't it? Probably.
Done. Can't contest that.
So, Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar. The alphabet.
I'm not good at letters. What's next?
C is for Chelsea.
Okay. All right. Well, someone wrote in, right? So we should probably let them have their piece first.
You literally don't want to talk, do you?
I literally do. I have so much to say.
So... Patreon Andy Penn gets in touch. He's not involved in the shit show that's Twitter. Good man. He had this to say, which I think is quite fairly measured. What can be said of Chelsea's recent run? Entering game week 13, just won the group in the Champions League, sitting 3 points from the top. As worried as we may have been by the Everton loss, it felt like you might make a genuine tilt for the title. Alas, galling defeat to Wolves when you dominated the game and failed to capitalise, and a late winner for Wolves. Got back on track with a convincing win over West Ham, but then, we heard earlier, Arsenal. Defensive frailties appearing, a comprehensive and deserved loss, he says, and drawing to Villa was frustrating since they had general control of the game and they were ahead. As a Chelsea fan, you tend to get used to the awful feeling of things coming apart at the seams, and I had exactly this thought ahead of City. Everyone did. I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't feel surprised when you were 3-0 down in the first half and another season appears to have slipped through our fingers. Ultimately, we've been playing well in patches, but our team is clunky and misfiring. Currently much less than the sum of our parts and losing concentration too often. At least we're finally rid of Kepa. Chilwell and James are two amazing fullbacks, and Kante playing like he used to in his old role. Who knew that would happen?
Ignore the last game. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. But definitely need to get more out of Werner, Pulisic, Ziyech, and I'm negative about our chances of anything better than top 4. However, I believe the future's bright. Whether or not that is with Lampard, I'm not sure. Patience is often rewarded, but give him till the end of the season. But if we're still like a poorly tuned orchestra, come game week 38, it's time for a change.
I don't know whether he's going to get until game week 38, but go on, Oscar.
No, he's really not. I don't know if you guys saw that Athletic story, but they are already... the Athletic guy, Simon Johnson, being very much actually in the know, like a legitimate...
He's one of the good ones, is he?
Chelsea guy, yeah. And they're already like having meetings about alternative options if they sack Frank, like who are they going to bring in?
Yeah.
So it is no good. Not good times.
I think the time that he got for being a sort of Chelsea legend is definitely running out because, I mean, Roman has sacked managers for way, way less than this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Andy pretty much exactly hit it on the head with all the things he said, which is frankly nice because I've been getting in a lot of arguments with Chelsea fans on Twitter lately. I'm back on like 2014. The reason I started Chelsea Index is because I was sick of hearing people say stupid things that the data did not support. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make a blog that proves to people that they're idiots because that's what people like, right?
That's like your motivation. You are Jose Mourinho. It's your motivation. Malice.
And so I would just write articles about how like Branislav Ivanovic isn't a problem, it's Cahill or, you know, whatever the things are, right? But like, other way around, Cahill wasn't the problem. Doesn't matter. That's 6 years ago. Andy's right. Andy hit the nail on the head. I think that we have been up and down too much in terms of our actual performances. I think Andy has exactly perfectly correctly described what the actualized results have been. And that is also why Abramovich is, you know, like you said, Abramovich has fired managers for a lot less than this. Like,
yeah.
Lampard through this many games is, I think, about this even with AVB, who was like one of the worst Chelsea managers, right? Like, those were dark days, and these are Lampard, and like, so he points per game, points after this many matches, all that stuff.
I saw a graphic today that in the Abramovich era, he's actually got the lowest win percentage at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That
really?
Does totally.
Oof.
His actualized numbers are not good, especially this year. But my general response to something like that, and this speaks to a much larger, I think, issue. I forget who it was. One of our Patreons in the Slack a few weeks back said something along the lines of like, oh, there's Oscar finding numbers to make Chelsea look better again. Like digging deep to find some numbers.
I love the way Oscar's pretend. Oh, I don't remember who it was. He's got a fucking tattoo of their name and when they said it.
I know. I will find you. I will find you.
He's literally like Wentworth Miller. He's just got all these stats tattooed across his whole body, and he can always like that's his prison break that he could just get out of jail. He just pulls up his jean leg and go, well, actually, I think you're fine.
The XG proves this.
On the 27th of November 2017.
I have memento tattoos all over me.
Yeah. So you can remember the Mourinho years the first time.
Remembering the Mourinho years, yeah, exactly.
Just in the wrong order.
Look, it's always the same numbers, right? I'll address this because I think it is worth actually addressing in seriousness because I took that to heart and I was like, shit, am I just really biased? Am I doing this poorly? Because like I care about numbers more than I care about like
life,
sounding smart or whatever.
The outside world, humanity.
Yeah, sure.
Your wife?
No. She's great. She can hear me.
Only because he did a spreadsheet to prove it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I did. There were 10 categories. I put weights on them.
Literally put it up on a PowerPoint just before she walked down the aisle.
It's true. Yeah. No, look. It's always the same numbers. It's the expected numbers. It's the underlying numbers because they are we use them on this podcast. We use them mostly as a descriptive, which is to say, like, oh, we look at a match, we say, wow, Chelsea wildly overperformed this team on XG. They played better that day on some level. And that is one of the things that XG can be used for, although that requires a ton of caveats, which I probably admittedly don't do a good enough job of, like game state effects. Like, for example, Mourinho's always Burnleying, but that's because if you score with your first shot, of course you're going to defend the rest of the match, the other team's going to get chances, etc., 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 right? That's XG as a descriptor. But the reason I always come back to the underlying numbers, and especially at about the halfway mark of the season, is because if you sort by expected points, by the underlying numbers, that gives you a much, much, much more accurate prediction of what the table will look like at the end of the season than the quote-unquote actualized results, which are the things that I'm talking about, like the things that have really happened, as you guys would say, reality, right?
As we would say. It's not some novel idea. We're not like three thinkers of our generation that coined reality.
I'll never forget the day you invented reality, Chuck. It was a lovely day. I was in a 2D sort of weird world before then, but you just created reality. It was beautiful.
It was a Thursday.
It's a great day. Thursday's a great day. What am I trying to say here? Look, expected as a fan of Chelsea who wants them to succeed, right? That's what fandom is I want my team to do well. Their underlying performances are a much more useful way to measure if they're probably going to end up in a good place at the end of the season, aka have success, than what has actually happened so far, right? Because sample size, because like that's literally what XG was built to do. We use it as a descriptor, but XG was built as a predictor, as a way to more accurately predict future results. Clubs use it, gambling sites use it. Like they don't lose money for a reason, right? And like last year, spoiler alert, I won the predictor league by just sorting by XG. Like I did no work. I just was like, XG, sort, okay. Great, that's my predictor league, and I fucking won, right? So like it is a very, very powerful predictor. Like it has been studied, analyzed, written about in like legitimate papers over and over and over again. So when I say like, am I worried about Chelsea? No. The results are infuriating. I'm very angry. Emotionally, I'm having a strong reaction to this situation. I'm frustrated, especially after yesterday when we got fucking destroyed by City, and rightly so. Like, of all the results, that was a very legitimate one. We got played off the fucking pitch. But the performances have been good enough with the underlying that I'm not worried long term. The only thing that worries me is the psychology of the team. Because now, as the narrative takes over, or as I like to call it, confirmation bias, Frank is getting legitimate questions. The club is actually looking at alternative options.
Yeah.
Because people go off narrative. Our brains are naturally built to look for patterns, are naturally designed. Like there is a whole field of study about biases and how they affect our decision making, right? And literally we're seeing that happen at Chelsea. But if you look at the quote unquote crisis that we've been in since we lost to Everton, I have those 6 results in front of me, along with, as you might imagine, the underlying numbers. So I'll just run through them briefly. Everton 1, Chelsea 0. Everton 1.2 to Chelsea 1.0. So a draw that turned into a loss for Chelsea. Wolves 2, Chelsea 1. Wolves 0.7, Chelsea 1.6. So a win on XG that turned into a loss. Chelsea 3, West Ham 0. A win. 2.4 to 0.3. A win. Arsenal 3, Chelsea 1. Arsenal 1.9 to Chelsea's 2.3. So a draw that turned into a loss. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 1.6 to Aston Villa 0.7. A win that turned into a draw. And Chelsea 1, Manchester City 3. We don't need to talk about that one.
That one was...
We got fucking wrecked. We got wrecked.
Hey, you won the second half, buddy.
There you go.
The one they all won.
So we took 4 points over that 6-match crisis run. But on the expectation, we would have 10 points. And on the match-by-match expectation, meaning if all the results went along with XG, we would have had 11 points. So, like, again, concerned? No. Upset? Very. I don't want to fucking lose to Arsenal on Boxing Day. Do you know how embarrassing that is? To have to face my family and friends when we've lost to Arsenal? And yesterday's match was bad. Yesterday's match was, like, fully legit. Pep just, like, outplayed us. His tactics were perfect. We didn't look up to it. Like, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. It's tricky because I think if Pochettino hadn't gone to PSG, then Lampard would have a much bigger chance of being
that's
sacked.
weird though, man.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
Pochettino in on an 18-month contract. That's not ending well.
Yeah.
Just as an aside to everything.
Yeah.
That's legit.
No, and from the Chelsea side of it, it's infuriating. I don't think Lampard has done a great job, for the record. I think he's done a pretty good job in a very difficult situation given the pandemic and everything else going on, right? Like, new team, tricky year anyway. Chelsea are really fucking stupid. If they're gonna fire him now, when they could have fired him 2 weeks ago and paid Pochettino infinite money to be our new manager. Pochettino, probably the best manager in the world, I guess Klopp is the best manager in the world. Pochettino's one of the best managers in the world and was available, and now they're gonna fire him for what? Like, if they fire Frank now and hire fucking Goose Hiddink back in for a fourth time,
Yes,
you know what I mean?
please.
Like,
The problem you've got, while I think you're right about the long term, is the short term. The short term, the Pochettino thing could have happened, but it didn't. So now you've got three routes. You've either got, you get rid of Frank and you have that horrible period of having a new manager where it can go well, but it might not. You know, how is a new manager going to immediately make these people gel? You keep Frank, but things don't get better because apparently he's falling out with players and stuff, and he certainly digs them out in his post-matches all the time.
yeah, that's not good. The team psychology is bad right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a worry. A real worry.
Or the third route, which I think is probably what the least likely, is that Frank improves this situation in the short term. So while I think long term you're right because the players you've got are great, I don't know. I think it's a bit of a worry in the short term.
Speaking of terrible managers that should probably be gotten rid of, Crystal Palace, yay!
Oh, don't say that about Hodgson.
Tinsel
He's an old
window,
man.
awful. 12th in the Tinsel window with 5 points, 1 win, 2 draws, 2 losses. 17th on expected points, yay! Apocalypse. 19th on goals allowed. That's not a good 19th. Only West Brom conceded more goals than us in that time. Expected goals allowed was 18th as well. 16th for goals scored, expected goals scored, and 13th. Yeah, just shit. Obviously, you know, it started off a bit weird. I'm just going to blitz through this because I talk about this a lot and I hate it. Bullshit. Red card for Christian Benteke in the first game of the Tinsel window means West Ham could come back into it 1-1. We then have that abhorrent result against Liverpool. I switched off at 3-0, turned back on. Firmino scored the 5th. I went out the house. We then 1-0 down against 10 men Villa, lose 3-0. Bring on a centre-back for a centre-back, Roy, you dinosaur. Then we played Leicester, conceded late in that one as well, 1-1, and beat Sheffield United. Like that's saying much, but Eberezer can literally do what he wants to me.
The whole lot.
He's so good, man. He's so good. We said that in our preview pod that like he was going to be the key between
He is sex.
you guys getting relegated and not, if he could click, and he has come in and started clicking finally, and
He
it
started
looks
clicking,
great.
but it's solo brilliance that's saving Hodgson's job, not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's either Zaha pulling a worldie, Guaita having an absolute worldie to keep us to a point against Tottenham, Eze being outstanding. Like, it's individual performances rather than overall team brilliance. And lack of rotation, burning out, multiple injuries piling up again. Like, literally, Benteke and Schlupp went off against Sheffield United in the first half. Like,
Yeah, that's no good.
both subbed off for soft tissue injury. Well, I think Benteke's dead leg might come back. Schlupp might be out for like 2 months, a month at least, because of a hamstring issue. And so, yeah, it's just a mess. Like, yeah, okay, 12th for that period, and overall in the league we're 14th. But if you saw the overall league by expected points, we're 17th. So, like, we're massively punching above our weight, and it is kind of shows that. And you can only ride that luck for so long, right? Only generating 0.6 XG against Sheffield United, 0.3 against Leicester, against 10-man Villa. What, we generated 0.85, they generated 4.6. Like, the misnomer that Hodgson sets up a great defensive team and you won't go down, nah, that's gone. For goals conceded, 17th most in the league. Like, that's not a solid defence. We've had 2 clean sheets this season, once against Southampton as a fluke at the start of the year, and one against the worst performing team in top flight history. So, yeah. No, I'm not happy. Yes, I'd like things to go. Yeah. Any thoughts? No? Didn't think so. Everton! Mark Howells at Dargiza on Twitter got in touch, provided a bit of summary. So, at the start, Everton 2, Leicester 0, which was a nice start to the Christmas period and didn't expect a victory. Then Everton went on and beat Arsenal, which was a good win against the side you traditionally struggle with. This was before Arsenal decided to play their good players again, obviously. Then they beat Sheffield United. Only 1-0 though. Which he said is peak Everton after good wins against Chelsea, Leicester and Arsenal. Then Everton Man City was postponed, which was Everton's best defensive performance of 2020. And then absolute sucker punch, Thomas Souček, the cheat code in FPL, hit Everton and they lost 1-0 to David Moyes' team. He said Everton seemed flat and lost the cut and thrust without Digne, or when you can't counter-attack through Richarlison, it proved it. He has said, if you'd asked me 18 months ago if he'd like to see Carlo Ancelotti in the club, he would have laughed mockingly. He would have snapped your hand off to be top 6. And, he summarises quite well. And I quite like this, that Everton fans, like all fans that love their clubs, will always find something to moan about, brackets myself included. But the world has chosen to put this all into perspective at the minute. I cannot wait to go and watch the match again at the Old Lady. I prefer the name Jurassic Park, or at the pub, but not at the risk of my family, friends or fellow fans. So yeah, Everton, we started very high on Everton at the start of the year. And Tinsel window, they returned to that form. 9 points in 4 games. 4th.
I don't know what to make of Everton because they seem like that, just go in waves. But have they been worse affected by injury than other teams? Do you think? It feels like, or is it injury and suspension with people like Digne in the team? But it seems like they have little runs where James is out, Richarlison's out, Digne's out.
Well, James has been out since the 6th week of the season.
Yeah, well, he injured his bollock on one.
Injured testicle.
But yeah, it just seems like you only need a couple of players to get injured with Everton, and they struggle. But when they've got their sort of first 11, they're laughing. I think it's a tricky one.
Watching games, I mean, Calvert-Lewin's still lethal.
Yeah,
but he's so good.
He's literally just not getting the service. At
the minute,
he scored 11 goals. He's been on 11 goals. I don't think he's scored in 4 now. Maybe after a really good run, but his XG is still 10.5. So it's and he's still in those positions. But when you take out Digne and Richarlison and Rodriguez from that team, and then your back 4 keeps changing, I don't think they've been able to keep consistent. Who else is in midfield? What's his name? Alan. I don't think he's been in for a little while.
No, in and out, definitely.
So, but the Tinsel window definitely, before the Tinsel window, pre-Tinsel, but as it were, they were 7th, and then performing to 4th has popped them up a spot. Currently tied on points with Man City.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy if I was an Everton fan with that, to be honest.
Oh yeah, big time. Especially they're fun to watch too, which is equally important. To me, I want Chelsea to win a trophy more than I want them to be fun to watch. But if they're not going to be fun to watch, or rather, if they're not going to win a trophy, having a team that's fun to watch is so important. And Everton are so much more fun to watch now than they have been in a while, really. Especially when they're healthy, which unfortunately, like you guys said, they've struggled with a bit this year. But
and while then on the subject of teams not being healthy, kind of a decent segue then into Fulham, who have obviously had riddled with COVID. Scott Parker at the minute, quite a few players. Alexander Mitrovic being a dick with Milivojevic. And that has led to Patreon Safira Gold, at Safira Gold on Twitter, to get in touch with summarising Fulham's festive fixtures. And it goes a little like this. Just like the Grinch who stole Christmas, COVID-19 has stolen half of Fulham's festive fixtures. But before the cancelled games like the Shepherd herding his flock, Scott Parker has guided us to a much more solid end to 2020 with the most resilient and consistent defensive performances we've seen in years, culminating in a 1-1 draw away at Newcastle, 0-0 with Southampton, and whilst also being robbed of 2 points by shocking refereeing at St James. Literally every team that has had that this season. The referees are absolute shit. Not that I don't sympathise with you, but referees are shit. If this had happened to Man United or Liverpool, for instance, there would have been a lot more fuss. That is referring to Callum Wilson being a toe rag. The squad, the 3 rise men at the back are, here we go, Tosin Adarabayoyu, No? Ola Aina and the magnificent Joachim Andersen. This has been complemented by the addition of Anthony Robinson, keeping the full America connection strong, and a revitalised Bobby Decordova-Reid in the wing-back positions. Lookman, yes, and Mario Lemina have been welcome additions to the team. No mention of Rubin there. Bit sad.
Disappointing.
Then she waxes lyrical about Andre, Frank, Zambo, and Guisa, a name I absolutely love. She calls it his second coming. His tricks, strength, and vision and creativity have made him a fan favourite, and big teams coming in for him is a big concern. They really want a pacey striker in January. She also mentions about Mitrovic being a dick. It's been great to see Fulham end a year with resilience and a squad of players who seem to give everything when they play. We have certainly seen enough to have a realistic hope of staying in the Premier League. As my dad said to me, it felt particularly sad not to be at the cottage for the Boxing Day game, but here's hoping to next Christmas watching from us seats in the Johnny Haynes stand. Come on, you Whites!
A spirited defence of Fulham there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what 3 points in 3 games will do to you.
That's the first time I've heard Fulham and defence in the same sentence in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tinsel window-wise, it's mad. They played 1 or 2 games less than everyone else. And 16th out of it, 13th for expected points from 3 games and played
Wow,
2 less.
okay.
So it is actually right. And, I mentioned a few weeks ago that it was nice to see Fulham starting to come back. And I think it's just really bad timing. COVID ripped that team apart. And just meant, and the manager as well, and just meant that potentially it hasn't been as lucrative as it should have been. Okay, so that's one promoted side that maybe things haven't been going well for, and then we move on to another promoted side who they have been, or they've been awful, or they're, Bale's a genius, or he's a madman, who knows? Leeds United, the Scottish man, Bruce, got in touch at Brew Crookshank, love it, saying he's a Leeds fan here, was disappointed with the result, the last result, which was against Spurs, and conceding 2 goals against the run of play when you couldn't land them perfectly. All in all, they've gotten a lot of points recently, and getting beaten away to Spurs isn't the end of the world, no bother, but playing against Newcastle and West Brom showed their attacking power. Or did they score 11 goals in those 2 games? When we're on it. But likewise, Man United and Burnley show the problems we can have if things don't click. We are always a threat, but I am not naive enough to realise the all-out attack style is unsustainable. Yes, that's what I say. We all say that. Especially proven against the bigger teams. But from a football fan point of view, it is pretty incredible to watch. I'll give you that. And if any team in the league played like that, I'd watch them religiously as it's too good to miss. All right, steady on now, mate. Overall, staying up and getting the Prem money in will be massive for us and allow us to upgrade and get into the top tier defenders, any defenders, literally anyone that can defend, that we need to do that hard job of keeping goals out when we attack as much as we do. That paired with players like Robin Koch, returning from injury, who was in the top 5 defenders in the league before he got injured. I hope you've got that stat tattooed on you somewhere, Bruce. And I really can't complain about being a Leeds fan right now. Do you know what? From the horse's mouth, as it were, hearing those things, you can't really deny it. Leeds are fantastic going forward and can't defend for shit.
Yeah, nice to hear a Leeds fan with a bit more of a realistic take than some of those on Twitter you hear from. Just because, I think the sort of Bielsa ball thing, it's going to be interesting to see the second half of the season. That's not exactly a piping hot take, is it?
No.
But he's absolutely right as well, in that when I'm, as a Premier League neutral, looking at the fixtures that are on telly, I am not particularly enthralled by watching Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, but I will probably watch whoever. Yeah, exactly. But I will probably watch whoever Leeds are playing. Whoever Leeds are playing, I'll watch it because it's either going to be against Tottenham, where Bielsa's complete tunnel vision about how he wants to play means even when it's clear that it's not working, because Jose had set up for Leeds specifically by pressing them high up, not giving them any time on the ball, and was really impressive in how he set up tactically for that. And Bielsa will not adapt. Absolutely will not adapt to that. So there is, while I do think Bielsa's brilliant, I think that stubbornness could be a real problem. But yeah, I do think they play really entertaining football. I just hope I genuinely hope, even though we occasionally slag off Leeds, I genuinely hope they don't go the same way that Norwich did, where it was all very entertaining to start with and then just went up the shitter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about them going back down even a little bit, but
No.
Are they gonna finish in a European spot, even including the Europa League?
No.
Maybe?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That's not my sense. Where are they unexpected right now for the whole season? We talked about the Tinsel window.
Well, here's what's amazing if you look at the stats. So, like, across the whole season, and this is why numbers are fun, they are fifth for goals scored, fifth for XG. They are 19th for goals conceded, and 19th for expected goals conceded. You go to the midpoint of those two numbers, 11.5. Where are Leeds? 12th. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I just like that.
Yep, that's nice.
But yeah, Tinsel window wise, it's literally the same. 19th for expected goals conceded.
Are they the Peterborough? They're the Peterborough of the Premier League.
Is that what Peterborough are like?
That's what everyone's calling them.
Yeah.
They don't have XG in Peterborough yet. They don't have it. They haven't upgraded. They haven't even got fibre broadband.
Look, Peterborough aren't playing. I need something. We're talking about fixture congestion. We had our 3 cancelled, and then the one that we were going to play, Doncaster, had their fixtures cancelled. So fucking everyone's got COVID. We're all fucked down in League One.
Yeah.
I feel so betrayed. I thought Chelsea were the Peterborough of the Premier League. Now you're saying it's Leeds.
No. We're the Chelsea of League One.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it goes? Okay.
That is what he said. Yeah, that is true. But to summarise, in terms of this being the first season that I've properly watched Leeds, it makes perfect sense to me why the Bielsa burnout in the later half of the season is a thing that has become consistent throughout his career, because there is something to be said for when United have already scored 6 against you, you just don't stop attacking, but chasing those lost balls, risking soft tissue injuries against what are complete lost causes. Sometimes in this league, a 2 or even 3 goal deficit, it's still attainable. Definitely. And the Brighton Wolves game showed us that this week, with how crazy and topsy-turvy it was. But at some point you do need to know, I'm not saying compromise on style and change the way you play from minute 1 in a game, but when you know a game is done, maybe just sub out your key players that are playing 90 minutes every fucking week.
I do think, though, that this year that will be significantly less of a risk, I guess, for Leeds if their pressing numbers drop off, because I saw a tweet today. I'm actually really glad that you guys brought this up. There's a tweet from Football Reference, FBref, they did an analysis of the number of pressures per match, not just in the Premier League, but across the 5 big leagues for every month for the last 18 months or whatever. Was how much are people attacking the ball? How many pressures are happening every 90 minutes across the big 5 leagues? And last December, here, let me pull it up on Twitter. December 2019, they peaked at 350 pressures per match.
What?
Yes, that's right. Then that was down by 250 by August, and it has not really come back up. So the big, this is just basically a way of measuring how fucking tired everyone is after 2020. Because it was 350, 330, 320, 330. This is March 2020. We come back, 275 per match, 260 per match, 260 per match, 270 per match, 260 per match. The almost 100 pressures per match have been lost to teams being tired post-COVID. And with the fixture congestion, and that's not just in England. So I think that Leeds can kind of afford to shade a few tired legs and still come out relatively fine, just given that everybody else is so fucking gassed.
But I think the key takeaway here is that Patrick Bamford is once again underperforming his XG. Okay, we can end that there for once. We move on to, there we go, a fanfare for the champions, I guess. We move on to Liverpool and Sam Danby, Patreon, who is at Sam James Bailey on the Twitters, gets in touch with his Liverpool festive thoughts. I mean, he's writing so much. I mean, to be fair, I had 2 Man United fans get in touch. Oh boy, we got that to look forward to. But he went for a bit of fixtures. He mentions about the Spurs game. It was a while ago, but he went to the pub for it. What's the pub? Don't even remember what that's
what
like.
is the pub? Should be said he lives in Norway, so it's a totally different rule system.
Oh, yeah,
when
of
we're
course.
Yeah. When we're in tier 92, they'll all be absolutely fine.
Yeah, they went into lockdown with 500 cases a day. We kind of almost did it with nearly 60,000. Says a lot.
I do think also, isn't pub just the word for bathroom over there? Like, you guys call it the loo, they call it the pub, right? So he was just watching from the toilet, I think.
I have no idea.
Spurs were fighting for the top spot, and Bobby Firmino scoring late on helped the team give him some Norwegian wood. There's the link there.
Oh, dear.
And Spurs nearly hung on to get something from this game, but they didn't. And then there's just 7-0 Palace, yada, 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 something. Okay, all right. Out of deference. Literally everything went right for Liverpool in that fucking game. It was insane. I won't talk too much about this one, but wow, we came together. It was great to get back to smashing teams. Fuck you. Following the leak of Salah being benched. Yeah, like that mattered. You FPL losers. Losing your minds on Twitter. Palace didn't know what to do. Fact. They just had to sit back and let it be. Fact. Take it like a fucking bitch. And probably wanted the game to end after an hour being played. 15 minutes. Could have scored at any time. Stats showing they dominated. Fact. Then 1-1 to... Here's what's weird, right, with Liverpool. 1-1 to West Brom. 0-0 to Newcastle. Like, we're not delving any further in those games, Sam.
And they are currently losing in the 73rd minute 1-0 to Southampton.
Well, yes, and Sam put on here is a prediction of Southampton 2-0. As the game hasn't happened, I can only predict. Never in my life would I expect us not to win this, as we need to get back to winning ways. Oh, egg on your face. Maybe. It's the 73rd minute. It's all going to happen. So he predicted 2-0 Liverpool, but then put 2 goals for Salah, 1 goal for Ings. I don't think maths, mate, is your thing.
Not so much with the maths.
No, but anyway, in the 5 games we have played, 4, we've conceded 3 and not more than 1 in any game. Form, yeah, we haven't got as many points as with teams around us as we would have liked. United catching up is fine. They're quite fun to watch, and I like Ole. It must be because he's in Norway, I guess. Do you want to know the secret? We will still win the league. I am confident of it and expect us to be 4 points clear at the end of January. Ian, note that down.
Oscar, tattoo that.
There we go.
My response to that is you are already 4 points clear of the next best title rival, and that is City. The other teams in between don't give a fuck. They don't matter. So fuck.
City have a game in hand, potentially 2 games in hand, and only being 3 points behind at the minute, which is mad, isn't it? Considering not that long ago we were like, well, City can't catch up. Like, this season's just insane.
Yeah, we'll get to City, I'm assuming, in a second, but...
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the next team anyway, so we can kind of take it together because, again, no Man City fans got in touch, which is a bit weird, I guess, because, again, it explains why they can't fill the stadium. You know what I mean?
We're always pretty nice to Man City, that's surprising.
Yeah, I like Man City. Yeah. I'm very nice about them.
I mean, I'm totally down with Brighton not getting in touch. I fully understand that. But what Man City? I don't know
yeah,
why.
This is it. But, Liverpool 6th in the Tinsel window as it stands. 7th on expected points.
That'll go up a little bit. Even if they lose here, they'll still get more than 0 expected points.
Yeah, but we can only work with what the data we had, man.
True. Yeah, I mean, they dropped off in form, but they're still the best team. And I don't give a fuck about United catching them on points, like whatever. Again, actualized results versus like predictive at the end of the season stuff. They're just really fucking good, and it makes me so fucking mad. And the further behind the actual title running teams fall, the more likely it is that Liverpool can just coast to the title, like last year. I do not want this. Someone put in a word. 2020 is over. We do not deserve another Liverpool title. We've suffered enough.
Oh, yeah, but if the answer to that is another Man United title, count me the fuck out. That's not... I know we said anything else, but no.
Oscar is dismissing that as a possibility. He's not even having it.
I'm not dismissing it as a possibility. I'm dismissing it as a probability because it is highly unlikely. But
just that little twist.
Just a little twist.
Did you notice that there? Did you notice that there? But, speaking of them, one of the teams, we don't, like I said, no one got in touch. Boo-hoo for the blue side of Manchester City, with a game in hand, again, as we said, which is the same for Liverpool as we record, but 3rd, playing a game less than Arsenal and Man City, 2nd for expected points. sixth for goals, third for expected goals, second for goals allowed, and they had the best XGA with across 4 games only conceding 1.7 XG. So, City defence is back, 3 wins, 1 draw, undefeated in that time,
Yeah, and I guess since we didn't have anyone write in, I'll jump in here. Thank you for the numbers. Actually, weird that I'm not the one doing the numbers. I'm going to do the words. But having them having just played Chelsea and me having been watching them with a more eye towards tactics instead of stats recently, I feel like I can semi-competently speak about what the fuck is going on at City right now, just because I've been curious. And the answer is that goddamn fucking Pep Guardiola, man, is just really good at implementing new systems and teaching players things. And it's so fucking frustrating because, well, when we were sitting here being like, oh my God, City are in crisis. Their players look confused and lost. What are they even doing? They're playing different. Meanwhile, give it a fucking month of the players being confused and now all of a sudden they understand the system. They're playing a fundamentally different shape with attacking not just the half spaces, but the line spaces, which is to say the area right in front of the edge of the box on the outside of the D.
Yep.
So you know the little circle bit at the top of the penalty box?
Yep.
Everything to the left or right of that within 10 yards of the penalty box, that is what they target with their passes, whether it's a cutback or a forward pass. And what they did against Chelsea, and I suspect we'll see it against other teams because it's not that far different from what they've been doing anyway, is playing false forwards. In the case of against Chelsea, 2 fucking false forwards, or a false 18, as I saw someone call it on Twitter.
Didn't I say play 2 false 9s once and it's a false 18?
Did you?
Sounds like something you'd say.
All right, well then let's say Chuck coined that. You invented it.
Oscar, check your tattoos. You'll find it on there somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe
that one's on my butt, so I can't see it. With
left areola.
Yeah. Gross. The Fulham keeper?
Alfonso, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. So what happens is that they drag the center backs out forward. So now there's space behind the center backs, but the center backs aren't willing to come that far up. So now those players are existing between Conte and the 2 center backs, between the defensive mid and between the midfield and the back line. The defenders are pulled out of position because they don't know who to pick up because there's no striker, but there's 2 guys kind of sort of in front of them. But then at the same time, the defensive mids get sucked backwards into that half space, into that interline space. And everybody's just fucking confused because no one's where they're supposed to be. And it looks like chaos. And then a month later, all of a sudden, it's the same thing happening over and over again. And it still looks like chaos, but clearly Pep is doing it on purpose. And he took a whole fucking team that had been perfect for years and was like, well, now we don't really have Fernandinho, and now Silva's gone, and now Aguero's old. How do I completely reinvent this team on the fly? And it looked bad for a month or so. And then lo and behold, before anybody even noticed, all of a sudden they look like a competent, structured team. They keep the ball for long stretches of time. It's closer to his old Barcelona team from back in the day. Defensive possession. Keep the ball for forever. The other team can't create chances if they don't have the ball. And we will generate 1 or 2 or 3 very high quality chances in those interline spaces, in those half spaces, and we'll win. And we'll win 1-0 every fucking game. And we'll win 2 or 2-0 every fucking game. Like, remember Spain did it to 2 World Cups. Or no, 2 Euros in a World Cup. Whatever. That fucking Spain team just played the Pep way, the Barcelona way, and he's bringing that shit back. And from the outside in, watching Pep do that, while Frank still hasn't fully been able to put together his A system, for reasons, real reasons, fine. But like, it really highlights the difference between Pep being Pep and other managers. Like, that he was able to reinvent this team so fundamentally on the fly, and they look so fucking good while the underlying numbers stuck around.
That's just going back to the DNA, though. Like, it seemed, we've said it before, like, it seemed like he was just doing weird shit for ages that made no sense, and the title-winning team was really simple, but it wasn't even at the point where they were playing triangles. They were playing, like, fucking pentagons and hexagons around the players. They had that many attacking options, and then it would just be pass, get it down to the byline, cut across to about the penalty spot, tap in, goal. Like, we saw that probably 30, 40 times out of the 102 goals or whatever it was they scored that year. And so, like, it makes sense that they are so quickly able to just do it. Whereas, you know, that's why I don't think it's fair to compare to Frank Lampard in that way, because, you know, he doesn't have the time with the squad and also the time as a manager himself to know what to do. right? I think
Yeah.
I think Lampard knows what he wants to do but doesn't know how to get there. But whereas Pep just tries some other shit for a little while and then just goes, all right, well, let's just go back to what we all do know, what we all can do, what is in the DNA of this team. You know, it's like a jazz group going off and having like 2 or 3 new musicians going in. It's like, we're going to lead in, you just jump in and you just get on board when we go for it. And all of a sudden these new players can just pick up because you've got players like KDB and Sterling and some of the defenders like even John Stones, Kyle Walker, whatever, that have been around that team for long enough that they know what to do going forward. Maybe. I don't know, it could all just be bollocks, but none of the Man City fans got in touch, so they can't argue with us about it.
That's true.
Well, we should move on to the red side of Manchester, but, you know, alphabet, I forgot Leicester. But then, again, none of you guys got in touch.
The M is silent in Leicester. It's molester. Oh,
Molester. Oh, no.
Hello. There's your outro. Just to run through the stats really quickly, though. Leicester, across the Tinsel window, 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, 8 points. They are 8th. Expected points 6th, goals 6th, expected goals 9th, and yeah, mid-table just for everything. Generic. Leicester still always seem to be in and around that part of the table every single fucking year. It's bad. But anyway, the red side of Manchester. Funnily enough, they all wanted to get in touch. I had about 6 fans get in contact and had to push back 4. But we'll go through this very rapidly because, you know, you can have your limelight, whatever, your top of every stat. Well done, Manchester. I hope you enjoy it. All the grace, a reversing dump truck. But Zane at AJ11ZA on Twitter and Andy Case at Andy_Case got in touch. And so this is a kind of hybrid between the two. Zane said, you know, he wants to take it seriously. The last 5 games have been fantastic. You know what? Yes, you have. Particularly from an attacking point of view. Martial had started in poor form, but he's coming back, and Fernandes rightly gets all the plaudits. There is a strong correlation between Martial turning his season around, he feels, and the performances going well. Rashford's had a bit of ups and downs that hasn't really negatively impacted his output, and since Raiola's comments about Pogba, he's been one of their best players. And since he's mentioned him, he wants to just touch on transfers. He doubts they'll make any. It's United. They'll spend a load of money, mate. Although a major signing at defensive midfielder or right wing specifically could further propel our title challenge, brackets, which will be nowhere near come game week 38. Interesting. He definitely thinks Pogba is leaving and Van der Beek is the replacement. So Van der Beek needs to have much more involved next season. And Sancho will be the main target next summer, and maybe a right back to give competition to my boy Wan-Bissaka. And then to kind of cover the defensive side, Andy says, you can't trust United as a defence, and in fantasy, don't go near them. Fair. The defence is weird as a unit. They don't generally defend too badly, but so many individual mistakes occur so regularly, it means they concede way more than they should. Maguire is slow on the turn, and some of that is helped by Bailey's just habit. I just assume he's one of me. As he is quicker and sharper, but also reckless. Yes, same with Tellez, more creative, lost his place to Shaw, and not a lot of points scoring opportunities there for FPL. The attack is their strength, very good on their counter. Fernandes is a must-own in FPL, facts. These are facts. He also famously invented penalties when he came to the league, judging by the amount of people going on about it on Twitter with Man United, that there were no penalties. Just like football didn't exist until 1992, penalties didn't exist 18 months ago.
I like the FPL thing, people who go, Bruno owner's a jammy, getting another penalty. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, they've seen that he gets penalties and he scores penalties, so they bought him. You had that same ability.
I was annoyed. He kept scoring every week and I didn't own him. So you know what I did? I bought him. Funny enough,
I fucking bought him.
He keeps returning. Crack on. It's a fucking game. He thinks Greenwood will be a star. Yes, obviously he's dipped a little bit this season. He just needs to fulfil his potential and play with some regularity. But he's a rotation risk in terms of FPL as well. Cavani has shown over that stretch that he is the best number 9 in the squad. Interesting right now. So at roughly 8 million would be a great option if he gets more starts when he comes back from his suspension, which obviously it comes from, I can't claim to know exactly. I believe it's some sort of racial incident.
Yeah, it was a racially insensitive word on Instagram.
That's a super complicated situation. Just in 2 sentences, briefly, he used a term of endearment in Uruguay, but it is a highly offensive word basically everywhere else other than a handful of Latin American countries.
Yeah.
So someone in England heard it. They were like, that's offensive. He got a 3-match ban. Today, the Uruguay players all came out and were like, that's not offensive. It's kind of offensive. It's more a nickname that boomers use that like millennial Latin Americans are like, maybe let's not use that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And on the reverse now, the Uruguay FA is claiming, I believe, racism or cultural prejudice, something like that, against the English FA. So, messy. Very messy. Not Lionel Messi, because he's Argentinian. Anyway, there's maybe an argument for him on sheer number of chances he might well get if he continues to play ahead of Cavani. That is Martial. Sorry, I missed that out. But as a fan, I hope Cavani plays more, as I'm far more confident he would take more of the chances provided. There we go. And I mean, he's not wrong about the defence. First for points in that period, first for expected points, first for goals, first for XG, but then for goals conceded, 12th, expected goals conceded, 10th. So literally everything adds up. The stats add up to the eye test as well. Moving on, Newcastle United. Stu Lord, at Stu, STU Lord, got in touch. He said, I've stopped watching the shit that is Newcastle. I'd rather watch concrete dry on a rainy night.
Fair enough. Let's move on. I have nothing to add.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Another Steve Bruce fan.
Yeah. I mean, I literally try to skip their fixture every week. I'm like, Newcastle, we don't care about them. Moving on.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, we should talk about Alan St. Maximin. And I'm like, okay, you get 30 seconds.
Andy
Let's move
Carroll's
on.
back.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
But if even their own fans can't be enthused enough to do it, then fair enough.
Yeah, speaking of no enthusiasm, Sheffield United, bless him, Harry Johnson at HasJohnson98 got in touch on Twitter with his thoughts. I mean,
feel for you, mate.
R.I.P. in peace. I'm just going to read this beautiful part. Like a smashed glass bottle being twisted into an open wound, which is on fire and having acid poured on it. That is how painful it is. But the truth of it is we were a mid-table championship team that Wilder somehow got promoted playing fabulous football. Our players continued to do that in the Prem with a League One journeyman centre-back in Basham playing back heels in the opposition box. It was a modern-day miracle. But alas, as my dad has always taught me growing up, there is always someone worse off than you. Sheffield Wednesday are moving on to their 3rd manager of the season.
Has to get a dig in.
Good man. Shout out Dave Mateo. I am in agony at our position and state, given we know we can perform so much better as we did last year. But I take great comfort that the Messiah, that is Jesus H. Christ himself, I guess, Chris Wilder as our leader, we will be back and hopefully follow the Burnley method. What big dreams. Yeah.
Got to dream big.
Yeah, look, my take on Sheffield is the same as it has been. They're not the worst team in the league, but they are the 3rd worst team in the league, and they're so far behind at this point that it's probably unlikely they can dig themselves out of that hole.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I even worked it out that so for the games that are going, like they're underperforming by what, like 13 points? Something
16,
like
I think. It's like 16 points.
For the rest of the season, they need to earn just under 1.7 points per game, which, if you did over the whole course of the season, is a 60-point season. That is...
Yeah, they don't have a 60-point season in them.
And that's just to hit 35.
Yeah,
Right.
which wouldn't even necessarily make them safe.
No.
I mean,
Nah, they're fucked. They're just too fucked.
Yeah.
Like, it's half a season's worth of a whole.
Yeah, so...
Ew.
There you go. As much as we joke about it, like, it's done. I mean, even the bookies odds after 17 games are 25 to 1 on that Sheffield United will go down.
printing money if you can put a load on.
Yeah, I guess. But so yeah, they need to perform to what would have earned them sixth place last year to be able just to potentially stay up. I mean,
God, sorry, Harry, but that was very colourfully written. I did enjoy it.
yeah, well, you've got to take some creativity. I mean, and then we move on now to Southampton, who, I mean, we're in the 93rd minute and they're still beating Liverpool.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, madness. So Southampton, Dan Tiller at my_name_is_Dan got in touch and said, after 2020 Southampton have had, I can't complain too much about the Christmas period. Starting with sticking 3 past the league's whipping boys, Sheffield United, sorry Harry, it's been pretty flat affair. Draws with Arsenal, Fulham and West Ham and a typical loss to City. It feels like 6 points dropped rather than the usual struggle through the fixture pile-up for a small club with a small squad. I mean... Again, 94th minute now. How many minutes are added on in this game? Fucking hell. Full time. Yeah. So Southampton won. There you go. So Southampton, 1 win, 3 draws and 1 loss over the Tinsel window. Liverpool. Anyway, 6 points would have had us third in the league. However, after the year we've had, that does sound ridiculous. We have come a long way, facts. I do think for a team that exert as much energy as we do during a match, a game every 3 days doesn't suit. We look tired and lethargic right now, but I do expect by the end of Jan, we get back to winning ways and push for the top 10 finish. One last thing, Ralph, what a man. I mean, never mind top 10 finish, mate. Like, Southampton should be looking higher than that. There's some weird stat that they've now beaten the reigning champions. Every single team that's won the Premier League, Southampton have beaten them the year after they've won the Premier League. So all of the 7 champions, Southampton have beaten them the year after.
That's a cool stat. They're full of like weird cool stats, if nothing else.
It's like literally the only thing Twitter's good for. Moving on anyway to I guess the new punching bag. Adam was the old punching bag. Jeff Pedder and Tottenham.
Hey.
At Jeff_Pedder. Spurs' festive form could not have been more Spurs. Really good tactical performance versus Liverpool in a game I still believe we should have won. That doesn't mean we were the better team that game, for all the whining fucking Pool fans who have currently angry blood pouring from their eyes, but we should have won. Him and Sam might have some beef after this. They then followed up with the classic, hey, we fooled you performance versus Leicester that was so bad I thought we'd been transported back to the turgid days of Villas Boas. Draw at Wolves is technically a good result, but we showed the ambition of a sloth and all-inclusive. What? This is brilliant. A cancellation followed, which was great for a bit of a rest, as we then played the team that never stop attacking. Good for them and the praise they received, as we beat them 3-0 in the most comfortable performance at the Lane since we slapped aside that mob from Woolwich a few weeks ago. But yeah, as he says here, 4 out of 12 points. Not very good. Harry Kane continues to be the fucking Don. Fact. Son is Son. Fact. Tongi and Dombele, though, that's the positive. Last few games he's been fantastic and is really influencing games. Negatives. We need more goals from other players, and 76% goal involvement from the main 2 isn't sustainable. So someone else needs to step up. I mean, Kane's posted a double-double already. Like, he's in double digits for goals and assists less than halfway through the season. Like, that's immense.
Yeah, but they are in. He's right. They are in a position where if they lose either of Kane or Son, then you do worry about things drying up, because other players have been very poor in front of goal. But luckily, Kane and Son have been absolutely deadly. So
yeah, but even so, man, we said like whenever we were talking about the 3 teams in the title race being Chelsea, Spurs, and Liverpool, that Chelsea's numbers were legit, but Tottenham were wildly overperforming. And, like, yes, they're going to naturally overperform when they have 2 players as talented as Son and Kane, but
yeah, it
is regressing, and that is more reflective of, like, who even they are as players and the chances that they create. Like, sure, like I said, Kane and Son will overperform, but they're not going to more than double overperform. Like, that's just not going to keep happening. And we're seeing that, and now their form is falling off. Like, so that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And in the Tinsel window, as you said, 4 points. 13th, 11th on expected, and you had like firmly mid for every other stat. 11th for goals, 10th for XG, 9th for goals conceded. So kind of a mixed bag across those results, as he kind of said. But with the caveat again that they did play 1 game less. But you know, they're 4th. They haven't dropped off as much, maybe as people thought.
No, they're still ahead of Chelsea.
Yeah. And relegation for Arsenal are only 3 points behind Chelsea as well. So, you know.
There you go.
Sorry, just wanted to get that one in there. We now move on to another one of those teams that, it's not looking good. West Brom, a guy called Lockie Benton. I like that. At Lachlan Benton on Twitter. West Brom, as awful as you can get. Players not tracking runners from midfield, opposing fullbacks not being tracked, completely overrun. Means any player with any sort of movement has a great chance of scoring or assisting. We'll lose no matter who we play. Maybe not to Sheffield United, though. Oh... They're the Norwich. Think from outside, in terms of this is referring to Allardyce coming in, obviously Sam Allardyce, since we last recorded. Thinking from the outside, it looks like he'll turn us around, but our whole squad is below standard. Bilic was holding together a piss-poor side. He feels the Bilic sacking was understandable, but the replacement was awful. Interesting. Our only hope this year is going forward. That's our strength and doesn't suit Sam. We've conceded 13 goals in 4 games under him.
I see what he's saying there, really, because I think the job to fix West Brom defensively is beyond one man. I'm not sure it can be done. So I do see what he's saying. I don't think they can be fixed in the Allardyce way. So maybe someone else was required who could, fire him up like Leeds and send him out. I don't know, but I do get what he's saying with that one.
I don't know. Because obviously I've had experience of Allardyce coming into my team when we've been absolute shit, right? And so we had, this is off the back of that year where we were, at Christmas we were like 4th, and then we had like a calendar year that was absolute hell. And then at the end of that calendar year is when Allardyce came in, and we were 17th with 15 points from 17 games. I think the total calendar year we got 30. Before we got our first win with him, and he didn't win any of his first 6 games as manager. So it was the 7th game, and we were still shit, like all over the place. We were 18th. There were 16 points from 22 games. And then from the last 16 games, we got another, 25 points from 16. So like 1.5 points a game. And, that was the first win came at the end of January after we got Milivojevic, Van Aanholt, Schlupp, and got Sacco in on loan. We had the last win at Anfield. We did beat Chelsea. We beat Arsenal in that. So, I have faith that, him coming out, he's very good at the Mourinho style, using the situation to get more money. And, he wants to spend money. Yeah. And obviously him coming out with this Brexit thing at the minute, and it will do that. And it's he loves that. I think he really does, and loves that controversy. But, he would have had assurances when he was there. I think West Brom, they will spend money. And I have faith that he'll turn it around just because I've seen what he can do.
Okay. Well, I hope for West Brom fans' sake he's got the time to do it, yeah.
He, Lockie went on to say that he thinks that Allardyce will leave in March.
Right.
I'd say if Allardyce doesn't get the investment, he leaves before that.
Yeah, if he doesn't get the promises fulfilled, yeah, absolutely. He'll just go when he can't be asked.
Well, he can't afford getting relegated.
No.
Ruin his big reputation. His whole thing is that he's never been down, right?
Yeah. He won't want to go down.
Expected points, expected goals conceded for the Tinsel window, 20th in every single one.
Ooh, dear.
And they're around there for the whole season too. They're like 19 or 20, right?
Yeah.
On everything. They're fucking terrible. One less West team for me to have to try to remember the difference between, so fuck them.
Maybe, but the other West team will go on to, from John OG at the Flying Slug on Twitter. I love that name. A tough festive fixture list saw West Ham visit Chelsea, Southampton, and Everton and get a decent return of 4 points from those games. Prior to those, they would have expected more than 2 draws at home to Palace and Brighton. No, you didn't deserve a point. Fuck off. West Ham had to come from behind twice in the Brighton game, which shows the resilience that's been missing for a long time, maybe even as far back as the Big Sam era. Yeah, another link. Maybe it has something to do with not having 50,000 fans booing you at the first sign of trouble. To that I say, they've never had 50,000 fucking fans in there. No way. Allaire has done well following Antonio's enforced absence through injury. I'm sure he's very glad that Antonio's back though. And now has 7 goals this season. That's Allaire, averaging a goal every 2 games. Hopefully enable Moyes to ease the burden on Antonio, who has been magnificent since the restart, but has hamstrings that are about as durable as a cobweb. Souček's fantastic goal-scoring form continues, even though he admitted that playing over Christmas was strange, as usually over this period he sits at home with his family for 3 weeks eating potato salad.
That was
you can't
brilliant.
help but admire that honesty. And at present, we are on the same number of points as Villa, Chelsea and Southampton. Not Southampton anymore, mate. 3 off the European places and 15 above relegation. Very happy with that so far.
They're real good. And Antonio being back is going to be huge for them. Especially if you're measuring your success relative to like how far are we above the relegation zone, then West Ham are having a fucking phenomenal season. Like they're not going to be anywhere near that conversation.
Well, they never should have been anyway. I mean, it's only because it's taken a long time for them all to click. We've said before they've got the names they've got. They should never have been.
Yeah, it's the revolving door of transfers.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, they're finally not playing Mark Noble in midfield all the time too, which helps. Sorry, Ian, I know how sad you are for me to say that sentence, but tactically it's a huge upgrade for them that he's not in every game.
But no, Jared Bowen looks really, really good. He's found his feet. Ben Rama's been like nothing. Like hasn't done anything, which is weird. Like even though he's got 2 assists, when I've watched him, he's awful. And I kind of watched Declan Rice for the first time the last few weeks.
I like Declan Rice, surprisingly. I didn't think I would, but
I never really had a strong opinion on him because I just never really watched him. But now I can understand why. I mean, the English thing inflates the price tag and the whatever and stuff, but like watching him play in midfield, I would love to have a central midfielder who is that comfortable on the ball and aware of actually what the fuck is going on around him.
right.
And not going to New Year's Eve parties.
All right, are we done? Is that all the W teams? Fucking done with this stupid list?
One more W team.
No more W teams. No, I refuse. No.
Right, Wolves
No.
is the last one. Wolverhampton Wanderers at Britain112 got in touch and said, from game week 13 to 17, we have played well. However, Wolves are too reliant on young/inexperienced players. From last season, we have adapted better to start the game faster. However, we now drop off after a 1-goal lead and sit back inviting pressure, which results in us conceding stupid goals like against Burnley, Man United and Brighton in particular. Adama Traore got back to his best in the last couple of fixtures and was immense against Brighton. However, we need a striker in the transfer window that Adama can cross the ball into and get more goals. Recently, again, we are not scoring enough goals, but our defence seems to be doing okay. Our over-reliance on the young, though, is beginning to take its toll as they're not strong enough to run a squad. 7 out of 9 subs being teenagers, starting 3/4 other teenagers is bad. And he thinks they need big investment. I mean, they just sold Jota, and Jimenez obviously got that massive, quite bad skull injury that he's recovered from and everything. But you know, I don't even know when he's going to be back. Must be quite a while. But you saw it was like flicking a light switch. The productivity of that team changed.
The question is really like, who, if anyone, are they going to be able to find in January in the window? Because it's going to be such a weird window. First of all, the Brexit complications, like we joke, but like that is going to make things harder for clubs.
Yeah, they can't just buy all the Portugal players anymore.
Right.
I presume not, no.
And especially if they're not internationals. Like I don't know if I said this on air or before we started recording. I don't remember fucking 5 minutes ago, let alone an hour ago, but
Life.
The Brexit implications on transfers are going to affect your Wolves and your Evertons much more so than your Chelseas and your Man Cities. Because if a player's an international, they'll be fine. But that like second level of Portuguese player who aren't displacing Cristiano Ronaldo from the lineup but are still very fucking good, aka how Wolves' entire transfer strategy for the last few years, those guys are not going to be able to get signed anymore. And so like, who even are they going to go after for a striker? No one's selling right now either because no one has any money. So they're like,
well, the only thing on transfers that I've kind of seen is the French teams were due to get a big media deal this year. I think it was worth something like 3 billion across the league. And obviously that league is very financially dominated by PSG anyway. That's not news to anyone. But because of all the COVID situation and everything, like that's pretty much collapsed and it's gone down to at most 50% of that is what they're getting. So financially what they plan for isn't what. So there is a case being made that a lot of French teams will have to be selling their players to be productive. To be able to keep themselves going at the minute because they similarly don't have they don't have the TV deals in the first place. They're not getting match day revenues. I think they've had government bailouts and support, ? Possibly. I think that's kind of gearing, looking at the landscape at the minute. That's where people are going to be cherry picking from as much as possible. But like you said, no one knows what the rules are and what's been set up. It's a points-based system. You have to earn something else and turn around 3 times, and your dad's mum had to be left-handed or some shit. I don't know. Like, it's madness. But yeah, I think you're exactly right. The implications, we're only just beginning to learn about that, even day-to-day life, never mind like in football. But yeah, well, don't bring it down on Brexit though. Wolves haven't looked quite as good though, but finished the Tinsel window 11th, 12th for expected, so fair enough there. 6th for goals scored, and 14th for goals conceded. So like pretty much balanced and mid-table. Not quite the Wolves we've been used to seeing. Maybe as being as dominant, etc., as they are in 13th overall in the league. But you know what? I'm sure at the minute, with the amount of injuries they've had, the fact that that's where they're sitting with all these problems within the squad, as we heard from before, like I think they'd probably take that, all things considered.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough soccer. Why don't we?
Yeah, but let's thank our contributors there, because there were some really good write-ups there, and yeah, it's really good to listen to a fan's perspective on some of them teams.
Yeah, shout out Adam P, Lewis Lee, another Adam, FPL Vinny, Andy Penpraise, Mark Howes, Safira Gold, Bruce, Sam Danby, Van Dam Samby, Zane, Andy Case, Stu Lord, Harry Johnson, Dan Tiller, Jeff the Pedder, Lockie Benton, John OG, and Britain 112, and of course Nate Whittam. Producer and girlfriend Hava.
Always thank him. Always. But also we should do a quick Patreon plug as well, because a few of them people we tapped up on the Slack for their opinions. So if you want to go to patreon.com/milesoffsidepod, then you can get involved for as little as $2. You can get on the Slack and abuse us personally, which is always fun.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Yeah, you do. I wish you'd stop. Do you want to do a round of the Bluffer?
Oh, yes, please.
I think so. The scores are even.
About football and talking.
Yeah, I've done enough about football. The scores are even. It's 3-3-3, but I owe you a couple of Bluffers to make sure it's all equal.
You do indeed. Oscar seems to be pulling out a paper and pen.
Sorry, I got confused. I was like, I have to get my categories out, because last week we all had Bluffer
No, it's just me. I've got the categories.
I'm putting the strap on it.
Jesus.
And my notebook's going away over here, so relax. I'm not going to write anything. I'm not Ian.
Okay. Ian's got to do 2 on the bounce. If there are any new listeners out there, the Bluffer is a game where Ian will have a category, or whoever is hosting, will have a category with a certain amount of answers, and the other 2 bid to see how many of those they can name. If they get called, they got to name them. Get one wrong, out. See you later. Bye.
That was a great explanation.
Thanks.
Very succinct.
Right. Okay. So let's go. I'm going to have Chuck bid first.
Yeah.
And the category is, thanks to Mark Daffin as well, one of our Patreons, for providing these categories.
So much listener # content.
It really is. Really is. These are the actors who have starred in 2 or more films that Quentin Tarantino has directed.
Ooh.
2 or more. So, looking at this, there are 33.
Wow.
He does tend to latch on to people, doesn't he?
Sure.
5.
7.
9.
10.
11.
Oh. Yeah, go on. Have it. 11. 11's fine. I don't think I could name 12, and I'm worried you'll call me, so.
Okay.
Right, Chuck, 11 actors who have acted in 2 or more films directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay. Brad Pitt. Thank you. Leonardo DiCaprio. Samuel L. Jackson. Uma Thurman. Shit. What's her name?
Just the 6 more, Chuck. You're very close. Just 6.
Yeah, I know.
He
Right?
bid 11. He's got to get 7 more.
Yeah.
I can't do math, Ian, okay? You could have let him have it at 6. Chuck's like, God damn it.
I can't remember her name. Daryl Hannah. Tim Roth.
Ooh, very nice.
What's his bloody name? Michael Madsen.
Very nice.
He was
You're
in
up
2?
to 7.
What are his 2?
Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
Oh, he's in Kill Bill. Okay.
And The Hateful Eight and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, wow. He's in like
I
all of
haven't
them.
seen the last one. That's the only thing. I haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's good.
I'm into punt territory now, so I'm just going to say actors that I know have been. Well, I'm going to say Quentin Tarantino himself. Okay, how many have I said?
8. 3 more.
Fuck.
I know at least
Okay.
one that you're missing. But that's it, just one.
It's just, I mean, I'll say, yeah, because he's in both films. David Carradine.
Oh, are you counting Kill Bill as 2 movies?
Yeah.
Yes,
of
I
course
am
it's two.
counting Kill Bill as 2
Oh,
movies.
so just name anybody who was in both Kill Bill movies and you're fine.
Exactly, that's why I'm trying to remember who died in the first one and who wasn't in the first one.
There's not as many as you might think that are in both films.
No.
okay.
2 more.
Harvey Keitel.
1 more.
One more. Christoph Waltz.
Yeah,
Nice pull at the end there.
Well
Very
done, Chuck.
good.
That was good.
Ooh, the other ones I was going to say, like Kurt Russell is in at least one.
Kurt Russell was in Death Proof, The Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Shit, yeah, Death Proof with what's her name? The woman, the lady woman. You know,
Yeah.
the lady women.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Lady Woman. Anyway, I won't go through them all because there's loads. I think you got most of the main players. There's Eli Roth as well. Julie Dreyfus. Steve Buscemi.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Duh.
It's like you try it because of how his films are. You try and think of like specific scenes
Yeah.
and like type scenes. That's the thing. Like Tarantino movies, I think you either like all of them or you don't like any of them.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
They're all basically the same. They're like theatre shows in films. Nothing happens. It's like this podcast. Nothing happens. They talk a load of shit, then all of a sudden, bang, 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 cool. Everyone's dead.
Yeah, exactly like this podcast, yep. Right, let's move on then. Chuck gets the point there. Oscar, your first bid, and I'm looking for... There are 32 of them, the top 32 best-selling albums worldwide. They have all got 30 million copies or more sold.
Wow. Okay.
Would you like to ask any caveat questions now before we start bidding?
Which website did you pull this off of?
Wikipedia, I think.
Oh, good.
Chuck is like, how do you spell that? Wiki. I'll say 5.
Okay, 6,
7.
8.
I don't want to give you every category, but I think you're punting. Like
You
you're
really
very
have a
much
thing
punting.
there where you don't like giving up control, do you?
I think
really don't.
all of them will be logical.
I'll go 9.
Yeah, you can have it.
Damn it. You son of a bitch. Let's start with Hotel California. Let's see. Thriller, obviously. Please Please Me? No, wait, no.
Oh,
That's not the name of the album. So I took that back. I didn't say that out loud.
You finished the answer, though. You did finish the answer.
It was a question mark. Actually, important question. Are we counting greatest hits here? Because I know that the greatest hits show up on the all-time list a lot.
Take a punt, mate. You had your chance for caveats before the bidding begun.
Fuck it. Fine. Jesus, this is hard. How many did I say I could do?
You said you could do 9 and you're on 2.
Okay, great. Rumors. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors.
No, all true. That's my favourite joke from Flight of the Conchords.
Brilliant.
This is a hard category.
It's hard.
There's got to be another Michael Jackson around there, right? Let's go with Bad. Is that the name of the album? I'm going to say Bad. I think that's the name of the album. Yeah.
Ooh. Good call.
Fuck it. Let's stick with Beatles. White Album. No. Get the fuck out of here. White Album?
Wow. That probably would have been my first guess.
You've got to be wrong on that. I demand a recount.
I could look up the White Album if you want, but it wasn't in the table. There are 2 Beatles albums in there.
Revolver and Sgt. Pepper's.
No, Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road.
Okay.
And there is also their
Is it-
collection.
the best of the Beatles.
Yeah, the best of the beat. There is their number ones collection, one.
Also, 63 to 67's got to be up there because that's like one of the top selling compilation albums ever. I know that.
Well, no, he said there's 3 and he just named them.
Your list is suspicious. The White Album, I'm Googling this shit. Top selling albums of all time.
I named my source, it doesn't matter.
Truck's fine, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter if they're all wrong.
Should have read the small print in your contract.
Do you want to try naming any others, or should we just go through?
Yeah, The Bodyguard, Whitney Houston.
Yes.
That's good, Paul. I'm going to say Black Album, Metallica.
Yes.
AC/DC Back in Black is probably right, because that's like the number one selling album of Australia music.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Back
Which
in
I
Black
know for
is right
some
up there.
reason.
I'll go through the rest of them. There's Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell.
Oh, yeah.
Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Eagles' Greatest Hits, 71-75.
Fuck.
Bee Gees and various artists, Saturday Night Fever. Shania Twain, Come On Over.
That don't impress me much.
Oh, is there Garth Brooks in there? He's like the number one American
Garth
for a long
Brooks,
time.
yeah, probably like Kenny Rogers.
No, the Grease soundtrack is there. Led Zeppelin 4. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah, makes sense.
Michael Jackson, Dangerous. Celine Dion, Falling Into You. The Dirty Dancing soundtrack. Adele, 21. Madonna, The Immaculate Collection, another Celine Dion, Let's Talk About Love. ABBA, Gold, Greatest Hits. Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms.
Good album.
The Titanic music.
Not good.
Nirvana, Nevermind. Pink Floyd, The Wall. Santana, Supernatural, and Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
So that means Chuck wins!
Everything's gone to shit lately with these games. I don't like this. I quit. I don't want to play anymore. I'm taking my ball home.
Well, that about wraps us up then for this episode. We're not going to do fixtures because we're probably going to record ? By the time the next one starts, and it's going to be in the middle and who knows. And we'll probably just record an episode about conspiracy theories, or maybe football, or we'll be on lockdown, or the football will be cancelled and everyone will have lost their free hits and all the FPL virgins will be crying, oh, I don't like it, tugging on my testicles.
We love the FPL community on this podcast and we welcome you all with open arms.
Sure.
That's not what you say. So thank you once again. I'm not going to name you all for all the contributors and getting in touch. It really means a lot that you get involved. Yeah, that wraps us up for this week. So thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you, Chuck. That was excellent putting all that together. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, I mean, I'll happily take the credit for outsourced admin. Once again, thanks to producer Nate Whittam. He's got a girlfriend. We love him very much. And look after yourselves out there, ladies and gents. Be safe, wear a mask, wash your hands. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.